Hello. What's up, everybody? This is GMrDrew, and you are watching the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 39. It's starting to get up there, man. I like it. I like it. I'm gonna keep this one going on forever, so it ain't a thing. Uh, Today, or on this episode, here, let me adjust the camera, bring it down, bring it flush with my drafting table, more or less. And today we're going to be continuing the prop and environment series. Mostly environments, I guess it appears like, but it's something like a prop. And just more concept art and things like that. And as far as this today goes, I'll be working on a little bit of scaling to show the ice dragon compared to like people, so that way we kind of have an idea of the scale. If you recall the map I worked on, I have this dragon. Here's a map, and I have this dragon who looks like he's about the size of a country. Is not that big. It's just a map. So it's just the map saying, "Hey, the ice dragon's here. This is his domain. Maybe stay away," and things like that. So because we have that, I wonder if I can. I just needed another square here. I wanted to do some prop design, but then I would have had to jump onto a new page. And I would have had to have started sketching here, or maybe on like the blank page over there, and just doing some sketch designs of tools and things that you could find around these neighborhoods, you know. Very much going back to the original prop design that I was doing back here, small location design things, the city functions and all that. But just moving on today from, we're getting a lot. We're getting a lot. Like I'm jumping around from high class, low class, from new and old to alien to ancient to functioning. There's a lot that goes on into making these things believable and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it is, and that's how it's gonna be. um so yeah, I'm just gonna draw like something like a face off between basically when the people of um, this town had discovered um, the alien spacecraft, and they go to check it, but because it's so near the dragon's domain, obviously the dragon confronts them. It's a bit of story, but it's also a bit of scaling, since I haven't established that yet, as far as how big the dragon actually is, how big these structures are compared to the people, things like that. Um, but yeah, it should be fun. So let me pull up the chat so that way I can keep an eye on anyone jumping in. And yeah, man, let's just get started, right? So I kind of started a little bit because I had to restart the tablet. I was getting ready to start streaming, and it was like, oh, since it's new, it was like, yo, let's get this update going naturally. I was like, all right, let's do it. I love the fact that now that I have the spaceship designed, as well as I do up here, it'll take like 2 seconds for me to redesign it. Or that, I kind of have a good idea of how it looks and stuff like that. That's super dope. That's kind of why I'm doing this, man. I want to be able to get to the point where I'm working on the story, and everything about this world will be like secondhand nature to me. And yeah, it's way in the background there, so it's not doing anything. Okay. So yeah, I just want to get that out in the background real quick. There we go. Obviously, the dragon's gonna be pissed off, so I don't know if at this scale I could really show him snarling, but I'm gonna try. me see, how is this gonna go? Because one shoulder's there, the other shoulder's gonna be back here. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing more like concept art of the characters and things like that, giving them close-ups and one-shots. So, I mean, I imagine Dragon won't be any more detailed than this picture right here. I just want to reference it to see how long I have the hair on him. I guess the hair goes all the way up to the corner. There we go. Go. So yeah, see if I can get a little bit of that environment aesthetic in here. So yeah, man. So yeah, the old ageless, the ageless tale of people facing off against dragons. Should probably get my shader ready soon. I don't think there's gonna be too much in here. Let me draw a crowd of people. Man, yeah, I'm a little upset that I didn't get to stream last night, but ever since the that tablet crashed a couple days ago, it put me behind schedule on everything. It's amazing when you stack your day to be nonstop full. You know what I mean? To have no breaks, and then something happens unforeseen like that. Uh, it it can really mess you up. So it I was gonna stream last night, but then didn't end up doing it, which is what it is. Um, Again, the plan is to always get to the stream, but I'd stream all day every day if I could, but I can't at the moment. But today's Sunday, so I'm gonna put this one together, and then I'm gonna go do some laundry, and hopefully I'll be back by lunchtime. And then I'll come in. I'll probably do some more stuff. Like I said, I really want to get the props. I really want to get this stuff moving along because I realized yesterday that like I have a lot of stuff to do for even just this ice mountain type. There we go. This guy's climbing down the mountain, pushing snow, and dust clouds of snow are popping up. We got How we looking? Where are we at on the screen? Try to get a little bit more angle on here. And then just random crowd generator down here. You got one brave soul standing out from the crowd in front of the dragon and gathering his attention, or getting the dragon's attention while all these people escape or whatever. Let me do this. There we go. So yeah, you got a crowd of people who all came to come check out this, just explore the land, and they came across this alien crash site. Naturally, you know how much us people love us some aliens and crash sites and UFOs and all that stuff. So all these people is here to find out what's up. And the dragon like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like, y'all better get the fuck from out of here. Hell yeah. Get some of these pine trees up in here. I could finally do these pine trees a little bit of justice. I mean, these are just the tips, just the tip. But yeah, and that map they was so small. I was so upset with how it all kind of turned out. So it's like, okay, you know, just get the tips of them in here. But at least it's something a little bit more than what we got, what I was able to do from before. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Where am I with all this? Man, so I was watching that new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever, however it's pronounced. I haven't actually heard anyone say the title, so I don't know how it's pronounced, but I believe it's Jujutsu Kaisen on Crunchyroll, and it's dope, man. It's another dope show. The first 30 seconds of it had me wondering, but I'm certainly not wondering no more. It's a decent show. It seems pretty cool. They're fighting off against this like tree demon, whose like skin is hard to pierce or something like that. And like the main character is like befriended another another person from like a different school or something like that. That's the thing about animes. It's like, oh, we're in school, but our lives are on the line. It's like we're in high school, even though it's a fancy high school for special needs. It's like we're in high school, and it's like we're the adults to deal with the life-threatening uh, sorcerers, or the life-threatening demons and things like that. Yeah, whatever. It's a cool show, but then there's this scene in the most recent episode where they're facing off against this hard to hit, hard to pierce through the skin tree demon lady, and like the main character with his new friend come in, save the day, and all that. which is fine. It's to be expected. But they come in to save the day. They start fighting the demon as they as per usual. And then the main character goes to try to do something, and he gets like all angry, and you can tell because his eyes are getting like all shaky. It's like, oh, he got the shaky eye. You better watch out now. And then his friend buddy, who he just made new friends with, like goes over and slaps him, and is like, it's like, isn't this a life-threatening like monster right now? If this monster was truly life-threatening, how how would you have time to fight amongst each other? And why? And then the demon tree lady just starts sitting there and like, are they fighting each other? No. Like, why are you analyzing? Like, you're trying to kill him. You're in the heat of battle. It just never made sense to me. Why? Why? So much conversation can happen in the heat of a fight. It's like, yo, showrunners, I get it. You have a story to tell, but normally when you're in the middle of a fight, there really isn't much time for talking unless they're like little slight verbal jabs or quick communications, like quick comms in the middle of a play. You know what I'm saying? But normally, like, ain't nobody got time for that. So, I don't know. I just thought it was silly that it's like, oh, look at in the middle of all this awesome action, and I get it because it's like, oh, he needed to slap him to calm him down from the shit, but it's like, well, then slap him, but keep moving. You shouldn't be able to put like sentences together and formulate whole entire sentences when your enemy is standing, within hitting distance of you, and they're just like, are they fighting? It's like, oh, you already lost. You already lost. This is why you don't win, bad tree demon lady. Because you'd rather sit there and speculate whether the people whose lives you're trying to end, mind you, like, so if you're trying to end their life, clearly it doesn't really matter what they're trying to do with their life, fighting each other or not. Like, if your goal is to end them, why are you speculating on them? Like, let them destroy themselves while you win the fight because you're not slapping your comrade. It's so weird. That sort of thing. So it's like, yeah, it's a good show, but things you see it too often in these shows. It's like, I don't buy it. I don't buy that tree demon lady is trying to kill them. I don't buy that these guys are in any danger if they can afford to have a conversation in the middle of a death battle when the bad guy's not even like out of commission or trying to recover or anything like that. They're just standing there. Are they fighting? It's like, yes, they're fighting. Now go. No, go do your bad demon thing. You know, that thing that you were just trying to do seconds ago? Like, kill them? I don't know. Don't know if you ever tried killing people before. I imagine it's like do or die. And if you're not doing, you're doing the dying. So, yeah, it's funky. But still a good show, man. You get some dope animations. And every week when I watch it, when I'm watching the intro, I see it's done. I guess the animation studio who's working on it is Mappa. And the only reason why that name sticks out to me is because I guess the recent, the season 4 of Attack on Titan that's going on, I guess it used to be animated by Mappa. So it's like, okay, the people who are working on Attack on Titan are now working on Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that's the takeaway. But yeah, my stomach's making all sorts of noises. What's up with that? There we go. That looks like a big scary dragon. Yeah, that's what I was watching before I went to sleep last night, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. And I hope to not ever have to do something like that. I hate so much exposition. If you're gonna do expository stuff, like don't do it in the middle of, battle. It's like, no, you don't get it. They're trying to keep you engaged with with the battle, but also with the story. The main character is trying to do a new move, and his new friend buddy is playing the role of the sensei. It's like, no, I get that. Sensei should have been taught him that. Or he shouldn't be trying to teach it to him at all in the middle of this life threatening battle. Maybe try to do it more in like training. If it, like, for the first time, for it to be a new thing, when it's not like, you know, an old thing that the main character has had an opportunity to do anything with. And yeah, you definitely want to test it in the field from time to time. But I don't, nah, sorry. I'm not rolling. There's little things like that that kind of irk me a bit. Oh shit, the sun's already out. The sun just crept up on me, y'all. I should probably go boil an egg or something so I have something to eat. Yeah, because I got a decent amount done. I mean, I'm gonna finish this for sure. But yeah, let me go. Let me go put on an egg, and I'm gonna go. I be eating a hard-boiled egg for breakfast, y'all. So let me go do that. I will BRB. You enjoy this little scenery for now. Stop moving. The whole reason why I set you up this way is so that you wouldn't slide. Oh wait. All right. Now that's gonna take 15 minutes, so I got a solid 15 before I have to get back up again and go do some stuff. But yeah, it's coming along, man. This reminds me of an old picture I did a long time ago. I did some fan art of that movie Rain of Fire. Don't know if any of y'all saw it. It's a movie that's been popping up a lot in the last like year or two. Um, Oddly enough, I don't know why. I always loved the movie, but no one ever talked about it, and it came out in like the late '90s, I want to say, maybe early 2000s. But it was Christian Bale before Christian Bale was Christian Bale, and it was Matthew McConaughey, and you can't even recognize Matthew McConaughey in that movie. I mean, the man, the man plays like the most hardcore Stone Cold Steve Austin ever. Who Imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin if he had like a militia behind him and he killed dragons for a living. Like that's Matthew McConaughey in that movie. You don't even recognize the man. God damn, that water boiling hard. Wonder if the microphone's picking that up. Okay. Okay. Man, let me go stir this egg around. All right. point. Yeah, another thing that I'm watching is they put it up on YouTube even though it was like a Showtime thing maybe. I think it was Showtime. They uh they have the Wu-Tang story on there. It's like a documentary style type of thing. And it's interesting, man. Super interesting. I mean, I think if you're into hip hop, I mean, you definitely everybody's heard about Wu-Tang, you know? Especially if you're in hip hop. But I think that, I don't know how many episodes there are. I know there's a few of them. Um I only watched up to episode 2, but man, just thinking about what they did and remembering Old Dirty Bastard, man. That's, you know what I mean? Like, I was a kid and just learning about Wu-Tang and stuff like that when Old Dirty Bastard died. It was like I had just learned of the man, and then it went from learning about him to he gone. I mean, the song that I remember, it wasn't even his song. It was a Maya song. It was a Ghetto Superstar, and he had uh, Old Dirty Bastard on there. That shit was funny. But Yeah. So I think I know why we leave this dragon alone at the top of this mountain. I think I know why people don't uh, make any attempts to get to this crashed alien spaceship site. But yeah, man, just watching those old videos of old dirty bastard that, you think of how he was, how he portrayed himself, but then like you look at the way he moved and it's like, damn, like that man he was smart, man. He's super smart. He knew he knew what to do. He knew how to do it. He did it. I mean, he was saying something on there where it's like, man, you think you would hear that today? And I'm sure there are people saying shit today, like what he was, basically saying like, hey, we're Wu-Tang, we did this shit ourselves. If you can't, if you can't get signed, you can't do this, you can't do that. Do it yourself, make it yourself. You know what I mean? If they're not giving you the opportunity, but you got the hot shit, do it yourself. And I was just, that shit resonated with me, personally, just because that's exactly, like I'm doing this. I'm doing all the art and everything that I'm doing now for that exact reason, and that was the reason why I did it. You know, it's because it's like I know I have something to offer. I know I have something to give, man. And these companies that I've worked for so far just didn't seem to appreciate that. So and I look elsewhere, and then other companies, they just don't know who I am. Just another artist, dime a dozen. And it's like, yeah, I got to do that shit. That's really gonna bang. they were also, they didn't really go too much into depth, but it was kind of super interesting to me about what the RZA had planned for them. And he was like, it's going to be this guy first, and then that guy second, and then this guy and that guy. You know what I mean? Like he had a plan, like a rollout plan for each of the members, and like the order in which they were going to do, and the fact that you can get what, nine of them, nine guys together, and for them to come to an agreement. Oh yeah, for sure this guy's definitely going to be first. For sure this guy's definitely going to be second. It's pretty It's pretty crazy, if you ask me. I think about Wu-Tang was before my time, so I really didn't. I wasn't there for like the beginning of it and all that stuff. But I was there for Nelly, and Nelly had the Saint Lunatics, and I remember watching a documentary, not recently, but a documentary that it came out about the about Nelly and him coming out and blowing up, and how he had started in a rap group, and but the label wasn't willing to give the whole team a shot. They were like, "Nah, one of you is gonna go, and then we'll figure it out." And I was just thinking about how similar that was to Wu-Tang, but how unsimilar it was in a way of uh, like they all didn't blow like uh, like the Wu-Tang members did. Like I'm blanking on even the name of the other Saint Lunatic. That there was Nelly, and then I got the man's album. Uh, Murphy. I keep the name Keith Murray keeps coming to me, but I know it's not Keith Murray. But Murphy something Murphy. Either way, I remember I bought that album and I was just like, when I was a kid. And it's like, man, you got to think about how difficult it is, and how amazing it is for Nelly to have done what he did. And I mean, I guess like what he continues to do as well. I mean, Nelly ain't fell off yet. I love it when these entertainers find a new avenue and they find success in it. Like Rihanna with her makeup. I was just watching a podcast and they were talking about Kat Von D and how like she started a makeup line also. And I was like, yeah. Don't know if that was the goal, because she started with tattooing. But I mean, I was there for the Miami Ink days, so I remember when she was introduced. So yeah, man, watching some documentaries is like memory road now. Man, getting old. Here we go. Let me go eat that egg real quick. Hold on. Love how this dragon's looking like a lion. Alright, so I'm just gonna sit here, I'm gonna eat this egg, but I should probably start grabbing some colored pencils so I can start throwing some colors down in here. I'm gonna start doing some inks and stuff. So yeah, let me so I'm just checking how light my screen is because the video looks dark, but I'm like, yo, I got the sunlight creeping in, I got 3 lights on this. Like, it shouldn't be dark. Okay. Alright, let me grab these colors. So I'm gonna need a light blue, dark blue, light brown, grab gray just in case. need a green. I think I need a magenta. Oh, and I need a dark green. Alright. Let's color this bitch in. Let's call it a day. You know what I can't stop thinking about right now is on the Joe Budden Network, he has a podcast on there. It was the second one that he started on there. Of course he has his own, and then he had got these three girls together, and they had a podcast called what See the Thing Is. And man, I really enjoyed that podcast. And already they're about 15, 20 episodes deep at this point. And one of them, hosted by three girls, and I don't know how much these girls know each other or what their backgrounds are, like affiliated or anything like that, but it was nice to listen to it just because, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but it's all like a whole lot of comedy and comedians, and some of them are like female comedians, of course, and things like that. But still, I'm not getting a lot of, especially these COVID days, not being able to go outside in general, and everybody just being distant and shit. Um, I don't get a lot of like the female insight on things. And what I liked listening to that podcast was how much, it was like where I got the insight juice from. And just the energy that they bring is different from like a male energy podcast, like the Joe Budden podcast, where it's like, you have, four dudes chopping it up? Like, that's a whole different energy than having three girls chop it up. I got a. I eat that hard boiled egg with hot sauce. I got a spice in my throat. Hold on. You should hate that. You eat some hot sauce. You get. You just start breathing and you inhale some some pepper. It just like sticks in the back of your throat. And yeah, they're like 15 episodes deep. And one of the girls left. And I was like, what? That's 33% of your hosts. That's 33% of the energy that was brought in. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it's bound to happen when you try to get something to crack. You try to get people to do something. And I don't know what the deal was. I don't know what deal she had. I don't know what she was expecting. The one that left. Yeah, it just sucks that she left. I could do all sorts of speculations, and of course I speculate, but I don't know how much to like believe in the speculation. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't condone that whatever I speculate is truth at all. But you gotta speculate as to like, oh man, what could have happened? You watch these things and you think things are all good, and then one day you just find out that it isn't, and you're like, oh, I didn't. You could always expect there to be internal strife and struggle in within any faction. You know what I mean? That's a given. So it's not like, oh, I thought everything was cool and perfect, and I thought it was like a slice of heaven. Like, nah. Like, but it's also business, and if they obviously came to an agreement in order for it to have been a thing in the first place. So I just, when I talk about speculation, it's like that's kind of what I speculate on is like what could have been the thing. And honestly, I don't really have a good answer. Anything that I would even want to believe is the truth. Oh, no, not you. Let me get you. Yeah. Let me hurry up and get this one done. Dizzy. So yeah, she's a DJ, and she was like the music player of the group, and she was hell of entertaining. I guess as a DJ, you gotta do a bit of performance. So, like I really thought she was bringing a lot to the podcast, and like I said, it's at minimum, like she's bringing a third of the energy into the podcast, right? If you have three hosts and one of them goes, that's quite a vacuum to have to fill. So yeah, man, it was weird because a couple weeks ago, they it was very clear that there was a problem, that there was an issue. Because they talked about it the entire podcast. They didn't get into detail as to what the issues are, but they just made it clear that there was an issue and that through vague terms, like they addressed it amongst each other on the podcast, which is always cool. You know, that's that's what we want to see. We want to see the real. Give us the real shit. You never know how much drama is fabricated in things, but clearly, clearly, whatever this was, it was real. Well, I shouldn't say clearly. It's only been one episode that she's been gone. She'll be back next week and it'll be like, psych. you know? So yeah, what has happened on that podcast recently? Sorry, I'm zoning out because I'm like, oh, am I coloring in coloring this in correctly? Uh, sorry about that. Zoning out. Um, is Joe Budden had also started another podcast, a third one, and that may have nothing to do with it, but it also just happens to be, the same week, around the same time after that announcement, he made an announcement of like, hey, you got this third podcast coming, did a commercial and everything, and then on that next episode with with the three girls in their podcast, like there was a problem. And it's like, and like I said, they were very vague about what the specifics to the problem was. So, and it's not my business. I'm not saying like, oh, they should tell us everything. We should know every like, nah. They want to keep it to themselves, then they have every right to. But it does open the door for speculation. I mean, if you're not going to tell me what it is, and me being the imaginative person that I am, it's like, I mean, is it a coincidence? you know, on the same week that a new podcast gets announced that we had no clue was coming. And somebody who's already on a podcast on that network starts to feel a way about something that we know nothing about. And then for like a month after that, maybe not a month, but still, you know, Joe Budden popping in, playing like granddad, like, yo, is everybody okay? like everybody good? Like, it's like, okay, so there's still like something in the air, you know what I mean? There's still some tension. In the air regarding whatever the situation was. And then a little bit of time later, boom, she gone. Now, I know in the podcast they talked about how this was something new for her, specifically the DJ girl, because you know she's used to traveling and being on the road and moving from here and there. So she had talked about not having really like a stable job, like that her job as a DJ is one that's really wild and you know you hear you there, you don't know when the next gig is coming, da 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 da. So to have like a place to be every week was something new for her. And maybe it's something as simple as that, of like, hey, you know what, I thought I could do this, but I turns out I can't for these reasons, and that's how it is, and that's how it's gonna be, and I can't do it anymore. But yeah, man, it broke my heart to see her not there, because now it's like, okay, you got the other two girls, and it's cool, like they're great. Um, One of them was often a guest on the Joe Budden podcast, and I enjoyed her input in with the fellas. You know, when the fellas are going and doing their fella thing, and then she would be there like to kind of offer that perspective. And then in times she wouldn't be there for like a bop, it'd be like, oh well, where's she at? You know, it's cool listening to these four guys chop it up every week, but you know, it was nice to have that female perspective. So for her to be on there, to still be on the podcast is still cool. And the other ones like uh, other podcasts, like she has like podcasts here and there, so she's just doing her thing. But it's just the two of them now, and it's like, oh man, there was such a good dynamic with the three of them. I'd hate to think of like why it didn't work out. Maybe one day they'll go into depth and talk about it, you know, after some time. And then we'll finally be privy to what happened and all that. Because it's just a bummer. You know, I don't want to, like, I liked that podcast and I'm going to continue to listen to it. And it's going to become whatever it becomes, but I don't know if there's any plans to do something about it, because it was a three-girl team and it was a three-girl setup. So now it's not even just the conversation that's missing. Like physically in the video, you see, you know, I guess you could always adjust cameras and angles and, you know, hey, you sit here and I sit there. Now. You know what I mean? Like you could always play around with the set. but it's gonna be different. It's gonna be something else now, and it's like, damn, I enjoyed that thing that it was. So now it's unfortunate because now it puts the two remaining girls in a position to have to bring something to the table, and have to compensate for that 33% that's missing now. Um, so yeah, me being facetious, I have to wonder if any of that that energy that came through to that made her start tripping was over the fact that there was another female uh, hosted podcast, and like I said, it kind of just sprung up on us, so it probably sprung up on them too, if that's the case, by the reaction, if that had anything to do with it. I mean, that's just me thinking about the catty nature, and obviously there's more. There's an infinite amount of possibilities that it could have been. Could have been that did that. So it's a bummer. We'll see. We'll see what comes of that podcast. You know, the other day I was talking about how I had in the last stream, maybe talking about how I had a friend who wanted to start a podcast and how I was down to do it. I mean, I was down to do it even under the idea that like it may not work out. Like I didn't think like, oh, we're gonna do it and it'll be the best thing that's ever happened to humanity. Like it could have been, but we wouldn't know unless we tried it. But on the other end, if it wasn't, like if it could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity, it could also be the worst thing that ever happened. And it could have, you know, I'm willing to go into things knowing that hey, this isn't gonna work out. Like there's always a possibility that it may not work out. You know, that's why it's a bummer when it didn't even get taken off the ground before it didn't work. It was like that thing died in the dirt. Nothing deserves to die that way, man. Everything should have an opportunity to live, including the podcast that could have been. So when it was my friend who was the one who kept wanting to bring it to life, and it was my friend who kept not being the one to not bring it to life, you know, it becomes an oxymoron of sorts, and it becomes frustrating, of course. base color. So yeah, I'm just thinking about that because that was just like this week. Thinking about how difficult it must be to get a podcast off the ground. Even if it was good. Like, damn, those two girls together were great. You know, I just hate the speculation part. And let's be real, I don't need to speculate. I don't need to. So, who knows? I was watching the latest Joe Budden podcast this morning. I was hoping that he would have talked about it then. I haven't finished watching it yet. It's what I was planning before I started streaming this morning. But I'm trying not to listen to podcasts in the background and stuff like that, because then it really shuts me down. As far as like, you know, again, this is called the Andrew Glowczewski experience. And while I do listen to hella podcasts and stuff, I don't think putting podcasts on blast in the background while I just sit here mad quiet, just drawing pictures and doodling is quite the experience that I want to like give. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna always try to do better and at least give y'all me podcast. This shit's solo, you know, for now. I mean, if there's any bit of success to any of this, of course, I'd love to bring people on. Yo, this beat hard, man. That's playing in the background. I like that. I hope the camera's not picking it up, or the microphone isn't picking it up. Don't want to get demonetized on YouTube. go. You know, the ship doesn't have to be super jazzy from this distance. You know, plus it's like right above. It's like, oh, you can see what it is right here. This is it from the other angle and from way far away. There we go. Oh, that was nasty. Excusez-moi. So yeah, man, hopefully once I'm done here, this will have given a good representation to the scale of the people, to the ship, to the dragon. You know what I mean? Like if we established in this design that that ship is about 5 stories tall, which makes it what, like 50 feet tall, that ship. I mean, just up to the upper deck here is 5 stories. That doesn't include the masts and all that other stuff. I mean, I didn't even count all that stuff, but if we did, obviously it's more than 5 feet tall, or 5 stories tall. 5 foot tall building. And so yeah, if you're looking at something that's like a really tall building, if this is 5 stories, it's not crazy to think that this could be anywhere up to 10 stories tall, all the way up to the crow's nest. You know, so if you have a 10-story tall building in the background and it's that tall, like, okay, we get it. You know, people make for a good index. I know it's starting to look a little muddy. That's alright. I'm gonna sharpen it up a bit now. Just a bit. Obviously, there's a little bit too much detail. Yeah, I probably need to blow my nose or something. Hold on. Give me a second. Oh, here we are, going on 2 hours. I need to wrap this up. BRB. Alright. Hopefully I don't sound as nasally. Alright, where was I? Throwing a little bit of shade at these people. Alright. Look at all these people just gawking at a dragon. What are y'all gonna do against this dragon? Nothing. Y'all ain't doing shit against that dragon. Oh yeah. So let's see how fast I can wrap this up now that I'm ready. I mean, it's not gonna be much ink in this one. Everything is so snowy and blowy. go. Leave that like that. There we go. Okay. Well, I brought the brown out. Might as well use it. There we go. Now, I don't know why, but these extra small pens, I bought a bunch of them and a long time ago, and I know I haven't used them, but for some reason these things do not want to work anymore. Like, they'll work off to the side. I don't know if it has something to do with the wax, like from these pencils or something. But yeah. Okay. There we go. There's a way for me to bring this one out a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, did not want to do this. Let me punch in the microphone like that. Sorry about that. Throw some color on these people since they are colorful people from the colorful towns I've been making in this region. wonder if I want to do this, or if this is going to completely ruin what I have going on. So far, so good. Oh, is that what I'm missing? Now, what about this one, though? Okay. There we go. And is there anything else I could do? Anything at all? Alright. Got these little mountains coming together. Finally. Finally. And what about you? What are you gonna give me? I'll take it. And oh, you know what that means. You know what time that is. Alright, 2.5 hours. Anytime I can keep these things under 3 hours, I'm happy. If I can keep them under 2 hours, I'm ecstatic. You know? So yeah, it looks like this one will probably end out hopefully before the 3 hour mark. But I mean, I guess this mix is basically a 3 hour podcast where, you know, I did all the talking. Alright. Snow caps. Little highlights to the snow caps. And getting whatever little highlights I can out of here. bring those eyes out, put some life in them, you know what I'm saying? It's funny how much bright white light can make something look alive. Like in the eye, I mean. Bright white light in the eye. There we go. Get some of those icicles hanging off. And this rolling wind. And let me get some more of this in here like that. if I could do this. Alright, let's try to rectify this as much as I can. I don't like how those drip drops came out. They came out fat on the bottom. Why are they coming out fat on the bottom? Alright. And I think I'll call it a that for this one. You know, because I don't really see what more I could do. Looks like violent winds. Yeah, so we'll call it a day with this one. Let me. So now we have a scale for the dragon. Clearly not the size of a continent, but definitely really, really big. What's today, the 21st now? And yeah, man, I think this one will be it for now. It's Sunday, so you know, I'd like to think I could definitely do 2 streams on a Sunday, but I'd definitely like to do 3 streams today just because of the setback that I had earlier this week, slowing me down. So let me look at this. Let's compare like all this stuff. Hell yeah. Definitely looks cold and frosty. Dragon definitely looks pissed off. People definitely look small compared to it. You can barely see the ship in the background. But now that I pointed out, I'm like, oh, this ship is back here, way back here. And this dragon's like, what is you trying to do with my toy? And they're like, that's not yours. Like, dragons don't have spaceships. But the dragon's like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm out here. And I tried to throw in a little wind effect, but to no avail. It's not the greatest. But hey, it is what it is. Um, so yeah, let's uh let's wrap this episode up. GMrDrew. You've been watching the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 39. I don't even remember what I called this. The something. Like the face off or something like that. The face off between the people and the dragon, and when the people learned, like, oh, stay away from the dragon area. Cool. Um, so yeah, this is that sort of moment, and yeah, it's at the base of the dragon's mountain where that ship crash landed, and yeah, man, let's we'll pick this up later on. Cool, thank you guys, man. I'm GMrDrew, GMrDrew.art. Uh, links are in my bio, everything like that, man. Follow, like, subscribe, man. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and hopefully, you guys learn a little something about piecing together. That's why I love doing these things from scratch. Piecing it together, and kind of giving you everything, giving everything you want, everything you need. So, yeah, man. Peace.